outside Nigeria. We had a comment that about 60 billion or so domain hosting going on abroad. That's a direct quote. And I take my guide from Mohammed. Some of this is not because I'm the person that owns the data, but research that's been taken out of public domain. And also, significantly, we've had significant growth in internet subscribers in Nigeria. One context I would like to show actually is this. I always hold the view that we can't compel people to just host data in Nigeria if we don't have the quality of facilities in Nigeria. And we've had it. We've been embedding idiocracy and taking companies back. That's not what we are about. Having said that, right now in Nigeria we have some of the world leading data centers, not just our rack center, we have NDX, we have other players in NTN and so on. That means that we actually have the capability and the capacity. And someone might say, well, there's 10 megawatts of government data, you don't have 10 megawatts yet. Well, you build it as you go, and you go as you build it. So as the legislations happen, then we can deal with capacity, but we have the ability to bring investment in and build very, very rapidly with the scale that requires it. So we can't do that. So let's keep going. If you look at some government data, go back. Some government data is actually locally hosted. These are some of the FIRS data. Some of the data center companies they do host some themselves. Some of the West websites. Some data is still hosted externally, even websites. Datacenter hosts its own websites locally in Nigeria. It's actually hosted within Datacenter. And we've had uptime from the provider that's been providing it. Who's a cloud and web platform provision partner within Datacenter. Nevertheless, a lot of government data is still being held abroad. Data sovereignty. If you look at data sovereignty, Apple built the China data center because of data sovereignty rules that they have there. The same thing with Russia. I'll talk about Russia in a minute. Generally, all different countries around the world have their own data sovereignty around India and different aspects to it. However, we could say, okay, well, we'll have data sovereignty for Nigeria. We're totally entitled to, as long as we follow that rule, to world standards, a bit like we've done with the Nigerian data protection laws that have just been implemented and validated to world standards. However, most parts of the world do it at a scale that is just beyond the country. If you look at Europe, it's the whole of Europe. If you look at the US, it's the whole of the US. So we could actually do it. If we take country by country in Africa, it would be very, very fragmented. And you find lots of different countries saying, I want my own data center, which would be really quite small and inefficient. We need to consider actually having sovereign data rules implemented at least economic region level, say ECOWAS, East African Community. Or actually, we've just signed the Africa Free Trade Agreement. So why can't we have sovereign data at the Africa level, driven by the AU? And that's okay. If I was being totally parochial, I would say, no, I want my scale. So let's make it Nigeria, so I can build just my own scale. But that would be very quite short-sighted. And the way I see this is that with what we do at the Africa scale, we are highly competitive in terms of quality compared to other locations in Africa. We are world-class technology. Our ability to innovate and speed of implementation and quality matches anywhere in Africa, including South Africa. So we're comfortable. If we have the sovereign data rules at an Africa level, then we can build the scale in Nigeria open to competition elsewhere for us to build that scale. And then we can then make sure that in Africa, we localize that data in Africa, rather than a lot of that data being held internationally. It's food for thought. At least we could start in Nigeria, but I'm saying it is possible to have that at the Africa level. The Europeans do it, the Iranians do it. China is huge. Russia is quite large. Now, I'll give you an example of the impact it would have economically. There's a company called iAccelerate. It's a data center company. Got established around about a year or two before Rack Center is a 1.5 megawatt power company by now. I can give you a reference point as Datacenter. I don't know specifically in detail of others. Now, we've been operating for the last 6 years, almost exactly. We went live October 2013. This iAccelerate, it got to its 1.5 megawatts in around about 4 years. With the local data rules, that company is now an 8 megawatts, 10 megawatts data center company. Now, how different is Nigeria to Russia? Nigeria has 116 internet subscribers right now, number 7 in the world. It now surpasses Russia. It's ahead of, certainly ahead of Germany. It's over Russia now and starting to traject towards, I think it's Indonesia ahead of us. So even our internet subscribers are they're higher than Russia. So the systemic implication for capacity development is huge in terms of data. Also, the implications of local data is this. I'll give you an example. It's in the public domain. Microsoft was talking about the US government or a US government agency trying to enact the fact that for a certain reason they wanted to sequestrate some data of some company elsewhere. So they weren't quite sure if that data was in the US. So in principle, Microsoft first pushed back on it, right? And then what they did was that they then find that legally they could actually be compelled to release that data. Do you know what saved the other company? Microsoft also has data centers in Ireland. It just happens that that data set was held in Ireland. So that happily they said, okay, actually. So it's something I read in the public domain. It's hearsay, somewhat validated, but I will use that as an example, nevertheless, of what could happen.